Greetings, wrestling fans. It is the 1st of July, and Monday Night Raw has just concluded. And what a fantastic show I think it's actually been. I mean, we've seen a little bit of negativity going on. We got a couple things we can talk about. But, yeah, welcome to the Monday Night Raw post-show here on Mega Powers Radio. We have hosts joining us from the Keeping Kayfabe and Smark Out Moment team, and I'll be introducing them all to you now. I am Mike Paden, lead host and creator of Keeping Kayfabe, among other projects. Joining me, I have Anthony Mango, lead host of Smark Out Moment and other things, just Fanboys Anonymous. How you doing, Tony?
Ahoy, hoy, everybody.
Also joining us, YouTube legend, Spood Beast, Braeden Mayhew.
Ooh, legend. You're really hyping me up here, Paden. Jeez. Yes.
And also, you were the lead host this past Saturday.
I was.
I Got Gameplay.
It was certainly a pleasant first experience.
Also on the line, we got here Drew White. Drew, do you write for Fanboys Anonymous?
Yes, I do.
So you are a writer there. Well, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Absolutely tremendous. Finally, someone asked me. God, you guys are so selfish. And also, we have Mr. Paul Hibbard. How you doing this evening, Paul?
I'm doing good. I'd like to give a shout-out. Congrats to Natalya and Tyson Kidd on their engagement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we usually don't talk too much about, like, headline news in the show, but that is certainly something awesome that happened this week. And I believe we also saw I think it was Naomi and Jey Uso announced their engagement.
That fast?
Yeah.
Love is in the air, man.
On a sad note, the passing of Doink the Clown happened this week, too.
Yes, yeah. I can't say I'm too familiar with the guy's career outside of playing the initial Doink, but it's sad when anyone dies, especially when they're dying so young, and it seems to be commonplace in wrestling, so it's never a good story when you're hearing about that kind of thing happening.
I thought that you were going to say, on a sad note, Natalya was a part of that Divas segment tonight.
No, we'll get around to that.
Actually, I just put that thing on mute and just watched the pretty girls.
Oh, that was smart. That was very smart. Unfortunately, the closed captioning probably pops up for you. Like, you can't escape it. The dialogue was just so bad. Anyone have any good memories of Doink they want to share, since I can't bring out any? All I can think of is, like, him wrestling with midgets.
Yeah, that's basically all I can think of.
His return to one of the most recent Royal Rumbles was kind of nice.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, so forgive me for that.
Yeah, he was also in that gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 17 too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's some good Doink memories. All right, enough talking about Doink. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. The opening segment we had was actually Vicky Guerrero talking directly to the camera, announcing that tonight that the main event would be World Heavyweight Champion against Alberto Del Rio going up against WWE Champion John Cena. And they seem to have this whole Night of Champions type feel to the whole thing. They were showing highlights of various people who have held either belt all throughout the night. They would show a WWE title holder and then a World Heavyweight Champion title holder. And they'd have the segment running, what was it, like 8 times throughout the night.
Mm-hmm. It was a good half of the night, that's for sure.
I feel like they pull this from the well a lot, where they have the champion versus champion thing. It's not special to me anymore. Is anyone else in agreement with that?
Yes, I agree with you.
Mainly because they've done it so much. I mean, if they just need some sort of kind of week filler, 1 week main event, let's just throw the world champion and the WWE champion in the main event and just slap on the champion versus champion thing, which wouldn't that state that it's supposed to be a title match, not just the two champions fighting each other? I digress. But, yeah, they do it way, way, way too much for it to be anything special at this point. At least this week I can kind of commend them for doing like a Champions Day thing and kind of hyping it up throughout the rest of the show. Usually they don't do that.
All right, guys, we got a caller on the line. Before I take the caller on the line, I just want to remind everyone out there that you can join the conversation by calling in area code 760-512-7247. Caller, we got you on from the 412 area code. What's your name and where you're calling from?
I've talked to you guys before. It's JD in Pittsburgh. How you guys doing tonight?
JD, I really should learn your number, man. How you doing, JD?
Not too bad. How you guys doing this Monday?
Absolutely tremendous, man. What'd you think of Raw?
Not bad tonight. I mean, there were some good parts about it, and there were some kind of mixed parts about it. I mean, I did like the main event with Cena and Del Rio. I thought that was pretty good, and I did like the little tension at the end with Henry and Cena. I mean, I'm a little surprised they didn't announce that next week we might see a tag match with possibly Cena and Ziggler versus Del Rio and Henry possibly. I mean, we might see it on SmackDown next week, or we might see it or something like that. But obviously we now know when the Wyatt family's coming in next week. The question is who they're going to feud with right away upon their debut. But some of the negatives tonight about Raw, I mean, I'll get into it real quick. I mean, obviously, this whole Kaitlyn AJ thing is just getting ridiculous by the week more and more. It's getting stupid. It's dumb. I wish they would just put an end to this to no end. And talking about Divas as well. I mean, look at the Bellas. I mean, what have they done since they came back besides whoring and pimping themselves out for glitz and glamour? They've done nothing in the ring. All they were just being arrogant prigs is what they're being. And talking about prigs, however, another thing, this whole Cesaro swagger Coulter thing, I mean, I'm getting sick of it more and more. It's just dumb. I wish they would get rid of it. And the whole Daniel Bryan Kane thing, I mean, that's getting really ridiculous. But the main gripe I have tonight more than anything is this whole Heyman Axel Punk thing. I mean, does Curtis Axel have to steal Punk's mojo? I mean, seriously, Punk had that match won tonight. And what does he do? He steals Punk's thunder by getting the pin. I mean, give me a break. I mean, I can see why Punk was a little pissed off tonight about what happened. He had every reason to be angry about this. And I just want to get your thoughts on those things, if I could, and I'll listen in real quick.
All right, well, first off, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it now. I think we're going to be going really, really heavy on this a little bit later in the show. But the Diva segment tonight with the Bellas was one of the worst segments I think I've seen in the history of Monday Night Raw. My ears were in excruciating pain that entire time, any time those words were coming out of any of those women's mouth. What's up?
Oh no, you brought up the closed caption because I put that whole segment on mute. I don't think the guys who did the closed caption could type fast enough with everybody talking over each other.
But one thing I do want to mention, the thing you were most upset about was the Curtis Axel, CM Punk, Paul Heyman deal. I think you're looking at it all wrong tonight. I think tonight we saw the passing of the torch of the best in the world. Curtis Axel went in there and got the pin on the big match. CM Punk graciously stepping aside and letting Curtis Axel take all the glory. We are seeing a new age in the WWE.
Bullshit. You can just say that because you have your fantasy league team.
Hey, I'm excited for the guy. Well, what does everyone else think?
Well, you know, it looks like that after they get done with this Punk Brock Lesnar thing, I could see them doing a feud going in Night of Champions with maybe Punk and Axel.
I don't think they're doing it after that. I think they're doing it during.
Yeah,
I think that Axel's going to be used for that.
And that's a good point. CM Punk's only held the IC title once, twice before maybe. But as to the passing of the torch, Mr. Paden, once Curtis Axel wins the ECW championship, impossible, 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, and successfully cashes in both contracts, the WWE title, and holds it for 434 days. Once he does all of those, then I will concede to you that the torch has been passed.
Okay, fair.
He's got a tag team championships with Kofi Kingston. You got to include that in there as well.
Yeah. All he has to do is beat Ric Flair.
You mentioned Ric Flair, though. I mean, what about that whole wife swap thing last night, guys? I mean, that was pretty. I mean, there was some parts that were funny, but there was just some parts that just made you cringe a little. What do you guys think?
I got to be honest, I didn't watch it. Did any of you guys watch it?
I didn't see it, but I heard that it was pretty funny.
It was. I mean, it had some parts to it.
Yeah, can you recap what happened,
in.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can recap real quick. I mean, basically, it was pretty good for the most part. I mean, Roddy was kind of calm and mellow, and basically Wendy, Fifi, the maid formerly, basically treated the family, Roddy and his family, out to shopping, and they spent over $8,000 and whatnot. But whenever Rick came in with his new wife's kids, I mean, Rick was just like, holy crap, I haven't seen you in a long time. And then all of a sudden, Rick's first wife, Beth, actually showed up, believe it or not. And she and Kitty actually had a chance to talk about Rick and his spending habits, basically what he's been over the years. I mean, she told Kitty that he was a family man whenever they were married first time, basically with David, Ashley, Megan, and Reed. And now that he's basically retired, however, I mean, he still has to live in the glamour spotlight sometimes, but it's hard for him. But for the most part, like I said, it was funny. I did get a chuckle out of it. I mean, you can understand those two being friends for so many years, and if you read the book To Be the Man, it tells a lot more about what they've done over the years together. I mean, even back when they grew up in the Crockett era, back in the 70s, I mean, they used to party and just raise hell and just do anything they could. But it was probably one of the better ones, and I mean, I was very impressed that Rick and Roddy actually did this sort of thing, and I think they were good sports about it, too. I think Rick had more fun than Roddy, because Roddy was just mellow, Rick was just still being his glamorous, crazy, wild self as usual.
I'm actually shocked it got no exposure whatsoever on Raw, if not in promotion, or at least something even showing in hindsight.
Yeah, I was too. I think maybe it's because one, I think Roddy comes back once in a while in a blue moon if Vince calls him up in a pinch or he feels like coming back once in a while. Like he rarely comes in and out different times. Rick hasn't been seen much of really since I'd say before or even after me, and that's understandable because he probably wants to start slowing down now more and more. And at the same time, I'm sure family's the big thing more than anything. I mean, he's had a personal tragedy, we know, with Reed and everything, and maybe he just figures right now it's not the time to come back, I mean, there was talk originally, we talked about this a couple months ago. There was talk that he was going to be a mentor to The Miz, and we thought that was going to happen. We don't know if that's still going to happen. But let me ask you one more thing real quick, too, guys. As far as Money in the Bank goes, if you're looking at the one guy maybe on SmackDown in that Money in the Bank who could maybe get that big push, we think Daniel Bryan might win the Raw match more than likely, and everyone's pointing to that possibly because I think about him and Cena going at it in August in L.A. If you're looking at the SmackDown Money in the Bank right now, who is the one guy who could surprise you, and who is the one guy who could win it? I'm looking at Barrett to win it, and the surprise I'm thinking maybe could be someone like, I hate to say it could be someone like Cody. I'm looking at that maybe. What do you guys think?
I'm absolutely agree with you. I think the favorite for the SmackDown one is Wade Barrett. As a surprise, I would look at Cody or maybe even Fandango. And I know people are going to guffaw at Fandango, but I would always say Fandango because I could see him being one of the... I know John Cena won it and lost his Money in the Bank trading attempt, but it's different when it's a huge established guy or when it's that guy you think is about to go into the cusp. So I could see maybe giving it to Fandango and trying to build it like maybe he's going to make that jump, but then ultimately have him end up looking like an ass. What do the rest of you guys think?
All right, well, I think a lot of people are going into this expecting Ambrose to win, which means he has no shot whatsoever. I would actually put him now on, maybe not dead last, but very close to it. It's got to go to Barrett. As far as, a dark horse to win, yeah, I hate to say it, but I would say Sandow. And the reason why I say I would hate to say it is because I do think that if somebody other than Barrett wins, they're not going to actually win the championship, kind of like what Paden was saying. And I don't think that they'll give it to any of those guys. But if they do, I think that the way that they've treated Sandow lately, I could see them doing that to Sandow, having him lose.
What do you think, Braeden?
Well, everybody's so dead set on Barrett winning that I'm just absolutely in the disagreement sector there. I do not think Barrett's going to win. Anybody who does, but you can laugh in my face if he ends up actually winning in 13 days now. But yeah, I'm fairly certain that Ambrose is beyond the favorite to win. And other than him to win, the only other person I could think of that they maybe could give it to is Sandow. Other than that, I can't really see anybody else winning. Swagger's certainly not winning. I would hate to see Cesaro win. There's only 3 people that probably should win that match, and we'll see who they choose.
Paul, who do you think is the most likely person? Who do you think could be a dark horse person for the Money in the Bank? The SmackDown.
I gotta say, going into it, it's gonna be real difficult. Just with the whole transition of this whole Ziggler and Del Rio getting no response from the crowd. You heard that tonight. Absolutely nothing. Not even, a couple boos here and there, but really nothing. I actually think Dean Ambrose is the one who people should expect to win it. But I know he's not going to win it because they've never had a champion go into the Money in the Bank and win it. I agree with you, Mike, that Fandango has got to be the dark horse because, people like Fandangoing, and if he wins the Money in the Bank, they get to do that all the more.
I saw all of, 2 people Fandangoing tonight?
Well, The Miz was the United States champion when he went into Money in the Bank 3 years ago and won.
True that.
Who was that? Sorry.
Oh, were you saying, Paul?
No, who was that? That was U.S. champ? I didn't hear him.
The Miz.
Oh, Miz in 2010.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And lastly, Drew, who is your favorite to win the Money in the Bank SmackDown match, and who is your dark horse pick?
Well, if I had to pick a favorite, no one said this guy is their favorite, but I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes because it's starting, I think we talked about this earlier during the chat, but Cody Rhodes possibly turning face, and I don't see Ziggler turning face and beating Del Rio for the title yet. So I think it's going to be, if Cody Rhodes wins, I think he is going to turn face and cash it in on Del Rio. And for the dark horse, I'd go with Fandango too, but I could see him doing something like have him win, but then he has to defend the rights to have the briefcase and have like kind of like what they did with Mr. Kennedy and have him lose it to someone else and have they cash it in. So I could see him doing that. But really, there's only like 2 people who could possibly win, and the other one I'd say would be Barrett.
Now, and here's the funny thing. They kept referring to the Raw Money in the Bank match a lot tonight as the All-Star match. Did anyone catch what they were calling the other one? The World Heavyweight
Championship match or the Future match?
Is that what they call it, the Future match?
No. Well, that was the whole premise behind Teddy Long's reasoning, quote unquote. He's looking towards the future.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear any of that tonight. I was trying to hear them say something, like if they would call it like the All-Stars and everybody else or something like that.
All right, well, at some point in there, we actually lost JD. JD, we thank you for calling, man. We appreciate your thoughts on Raw and the questions to guide us on the show. We also invite everyone else to call in with your questions or comments on tonight's Monday Night Raw. Call in with area code 760-512-7247. That's area code 760-512-7247 to join us here on the Monday Night Raw post-game show here on Mega Powers Radio. So keeping going with the rundown of what happened tonight on Raw. Speaking of the Money in the Bank matches, we had Daniel Bryan first coming out. He had an awesome new T-shirt. It was a sketch, like a hipster sketch drawing of his face and beard, and it says "Respect the Beard." It's on my potential list for a shirt I'll be getting this year. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, I'm a bearded fellow, so it certainly is apt for me.
As am I.
It was a nice shirt.
And we actually saw a number of new shirts tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody just debuting new merchandise after new merchandise. The color's pretty decent, I would say. If there's anything other than the yes and no stuff that they could market onto a T-shirt for Daniel Bryan, it certainly would be his beard. So, yeah, it's a good shirt for him. Continues a streak of decent shirts anyway.
So, this just started out actually giving Daniel Bryan a good amount of time, but what it ended up becoming was another one of those segments where one person comes out, and then another person comes out, and then another person comes out. And as a general rule, I usually don't like these kind of segments. I feel no one ends up coming out of it looking better. But I think the execution on this one was actually pretty good. I think Daniel Bryan certainly continued the streak that he looks like he's the favorite going into the match. I think they had a really cool little dynamic between Kane and Daniel Bryan, stressing that, hey, there's no friends in this. But even in the end, like, it's not the match yet, so they still had each other's back in some ways when Randy Orton goes to get into Daniel Bryan's face, but Kane jumps in the way. And that resulted in Kane getting an RKO for his troubles. What did everyone else think of this segment? Anthony, what did you think?
Kane really made it look like a piece of crap after that. I thought he's the only one that gets anything attacked. Usually these things, they kind of break down. You have some kind of, like, shoving match or whatever like that. This was just kind of like, fuck you, Kane, and then everybody else walks away just like, that sucks. And then, of course, he has to have his match later on where he's kind of the, I guess you could say, like, the scapegoat of the whole match.
Yeah, Braeden, what'd you think?
It was a different way to end it. I've never seen one of these things. Like, they've had a few times building up to this pay-per-view where everybody in the ladder match just kind of breaks out into a huge brawl, as Tony alluded to earlier. This is one of the, like, really rare circumstances where everybody just kind of calmly leaves the ring after somebody gets attacked and just kind of minds their own business and walks away. I don't know, but it just seemed like a different way to end it. I didn't hate it. It just seemed like the regular, we have a multi-man match. We're going to all just kind of take shots at one another sort of thing, go in a round table, and then usually shit breaks down. But this is just where everybody just kind of politely leaves the ring after Orton hits Kane with an RKO.
It was only one step away from, like, one of them, like, sitting on the ropes to hold them open for somebody.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Punk kind of leaves the ring. Christian makes sure he's done off the apron, and he kind of gently drops to the floor, and then everybody just kind of evacuates. And yeah, it's certainly a different way to handle one of these segments, that's for sure.
Paul, what'd you think?
I honestly thought they all should have been in big, comfy chairs, smoking Sherlock Holmes pipes, being like, "You, sir, suck."
Good
it was
show.
A gentleman's argument that ended with an RKO. I mean, it wasn't really anything like we've seen, before, where everybody in the Money in the Bank match comes out, and then, like Tony said, it's a huge brawl.
It's almost like
honestly,
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's almost like a contract signing where they actually both sign the contract and go about their business.
And somebody flips the table for no reason.
I would love to see that one day. That would be the perfect segment in my mind.
Maybe
they
shake
don't
hands
like,
before.
One contract.
like they don't even have to do the little pretext of we said that there's not going to be any fighting today. Like they just kind of go, all right guys, go out there and do your thing, and then just kind of like, here you go, sign. I'll see you there, good sir. Shake hands.
Drew, I want to give you your opinion, but I also want to tell you we're getting a little bit of echo on your end. I don't know what that's coming from.
Okay, my bad. Hang on a second here. Actually, I don't even know. I don't know.
Are you using headphones?
Yes. Hang on a second.
Are you using an iPhone?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Other words, yes.
Oh. Testing 1 2. Still getting it. Well, while Drew's I can't really talk too much while it's like this. Drew, do something. Okay, he's off. Goodbye.
Do the Gangrel intro.
Oh,
that echoed.
I'm still getting it.
I still hear feedback.
Hello. Oh, it's coming from Paul. I blame Drew for the wrong thing. Paul, it's you.
Is that from me?
Yes.
I'm just using my computer like I have the last couple times.
Are you using headphones?
No, not at all.
Oh, that's why. All right. Either if you have headphones, just plug them in. You can still use your computer mic, or at least turn your computer down a little bit because we were getting some really bad echo there.
Okay, hold on.
Let me get Drew back in. All right, guys. Moving on then. Sorry for that little technical figuring out there, folks. Drew, I actually falsely blamed you. It was Paul. Paul was the one to blame.
Oh, gosh darn it, Paul.
Sorry, Drew. My apologies.
Could I give my opinion on the subject still?
Absolutely, please.
It was okay. Now continue.
Well, thank you for your relevant opinion.
You're welcome.
The next match we had, well, the first match of the show we actually had, was The Shield going up against the Usos and Christian. Finally, The Shield getting an actual moment to do something on Raw.
Other than the 20 seconds they had last week, standing up in the stands with everybody else, and then that was the only thing they did all Monday night.
Yeah. This was a pretty good match. It went through 2 full segments. The Shield ended up winning with Dean Ambrose getting a roll-up. And that's pretty much it. The only note I have on this actually is that we saw the return of the WWE app being plugged during this match.
Yay.
Which you can get for iOS and Android services for whatever your app provider may be.
On SmackDown, the same match happened, and the Usos and Christian actually came out with the victory. It's a shame they couldn't give them that same shine on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I guess just for the bigger audience, they need to give the Shield their win back, I guess.
Yeah. Drew, any thoughts on the Shield against the Usos?
It was okay, but no, it's just, to me, last year they had these talks about having the return of the tag team division and how that they were going to build it up better than what they had been in the past. And now, with Kane and Daniel Bryan leaving, it's the Shield and the Usos, and there's really no one else to challenge them.
Paul,
so,
Paul, what's your thoughts?
Is the echo better on that?
Yeah, I'm not hearing it anymore. Thank you.
Okay, yep, not a problem. Sorry, I was busy getting headphones. What were you guys talking about?
We're talking about the Shield against the Usos and Christian.
Oh, yes. No, it was a really good match, and I really thought Christian brought it on this one. I honestly thought they were going to pick up another win, but I don't see the Shield losing twice in a week. It was really interesting to see Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns not carrying those horrible bronze belts out to the ring. I actually kind of liked it.
Did they not? I missed that.
I thought they didn't. I didn't see it. All I saw was Dean's U.S. Championship.
Did anyone else notice that?
No, they had them out there.
They had no. I guess I just don't care about them anymore.
He's blocking them out.
Can we at least go back to when the Miz and Big Show had both those? Had like the 2 belts. That was kind of awesome.
Here's some controversy for everybody. I love the copper pennies.
I think they're all right too. I like the Spartan helmets.
Yeah. See, that's fine. That's fine.
The design I do not have a problem with. I think I have a problem with the copper because it makes it look like they're lesser belts.
See, I
think the WWE or the Attitude Era Cruiserweight Championship looks a lot better than those belts.
I actually like the fact that it's like more of a bronze. I just don't like the little helmets on it. I think it makes it look. If it was silver or gold, it wouldn't look as much. But the fact that it's that color and it has a big head on it looks like a penny. So that's why I don't like it. But if they would have had like that old WWE, the World Tag Team Championship kind of a logo, but in bronze, I'd be perfectly fine for that.
Oh, yeah.
So after that match, we had a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan apologizing to Kane, telling him that he went to Vicky and got a match booked as a rematch between Kane and Randy Orton, and that Daniel Bryan was going to be the special guest referee for it. So we'll talk more about that one later. The next match we had, though, was Dolph Ziggler versus Jinder Mahal. Of course, absolutely a must-talk match. Actually, the only thing I wanted to mention was when Dolph Ziggler first came out, zero reaction. Yeah. None at all. And they picked up by the end of the match, especially when they were doing this thing where the three-man band was trying to catch Ziggler, and he was always giving him the slip. But this crowd in general was just awful tonight. I forget where they were.
Does anybody know where they were tonight?
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't know, but wherever it is, I hope they never go back.
It certainly wasn't the East Coast.
Well, they just didn't want to hinder the Jinder, as I like to say. So they were being quiet for a reason.
Yeah, not a good start to Dolph Ziggler's face run though.
I'm just hoping it's the city, because anywhere else he usually gets, even when he was a heel, he was getting decent reactions. I'm just hoping that this is such a god awful city that they only cared about like maybe what John Cena was doing in the main event, or maybe when Punk came out, and just like the few people you see on like the program for the show that they're attending, and then they just didn't want to react to anybody else. I don't know, but that was weird. I was expecting him to get at least something bigger than dead silence.
But this crowd was just awful. I mean, and there was a point actually. I think I forgot to actually write this in the notes, but they aired a Rob Van Dam promo, and after the promo, they cut to the crowd, and they would have the crowd sound of the crowd going RVD, RVD. But the video they were showing to the crowd was everyone just literally there was people sitting on their hands.
Oh my gosh! Did they even say what city they were in?
I think they probably did at the beginning and then never again, because they're like, oh gosh.
Let's ask our truth.
All right, so the next match we had was the aforementioned Randy Orton versus Kane match with Daniel Bryan as a special guest referee. Halfway through this match, we had Randy Orton shove the referee, Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan ended up calling for a disqualification, but Kane was having none of that, and he demanded that Daniel Bryan restart the match, which he did. The match officially ended after Bryan got in the way of Randy Orton going to hit the RKO, allowing Kane to hit the big boot and then going for the pin. But when he went for the pin, Daniel Bryan does one of the fastest 3 counts you'll see, and now there's this whole controversy going through that. Daniel Bryan was actually getting a lot of boos. As quiet as the crowd was, they were booing Daniel Bryan hard here, which I'm shocked for. I didn't realize there were such strong Randy Orton fans there.
He's just one of the people on the program for the show that they were attending, I'm telling you. It's one of those few people that they just decide to get behind 100%, and they don't give 3 shits about anybody else.
They were just big fans of following the rules.
So does this maybe cement more of the belief that maybe we're going to be seeing Bryan going heel, despite the fact that he's pretty much nearing the biggest babyface in the company?
No. I mean, if there's any way to try and purposely get heat on him calling off a match between 2 faces is a way to try and get him heat. Why? I have no idea. Why not just I don't know. That to me was stupid. It's like, if you don't want this guy to get booed, why are you making him do something that's going to get him booed?
Any thoughts, Paul?
I really thought it was a good match, all the way up until that whole quick count, because I totally agree. Why are you making him do something and yet setting him up for this huge win? Like you're just conflicting yourselves now. It's going to be another Ziggler Del Rio thing, and it was absolutely ridiculous. I really didn't care much for that whole special GOAT referee.
Yeah. On top of that, he did the quick count because that's how the match ended. Was off the big boot and then like counts really, really quickly.
And we all know the big boot doesn't knock people out.
Well, it depends on who's delivering it. If it was by Test, I think it can knock someone out.
Yes, Test and Kevin Nash.
So how'd this controversial ending leave you feeling, Tony?
Let's put it this way. They could have done a whole lot better. They could have done a whole lot worse. It is what it is. And
Drew, anything you want to add?
I don't know how I could top what Tony just said. I liked Daniel Bryan in a referee outfit, and that's about all I can say about this.
Yeah, I believe in our chat you had mentioned at one point that Daniel Bryan could transition into being a referee full time.
Yes, he could.
No, thank you. So next we go backstage and we have CM Punk, Paul Heyman, and Curtis Axel sitting in the locker room talking about their upcoming main event against the primetime players. Lots of discussion about trust, about how CM Punk trusted Paul Heyman, but he did not trust Curtis Axel. And Heyman told him, listen, you trust me, trust my judgment. And I'm saying that Curtis Axel is the guys you can trust. And pretty much left on that note. Next match we had was Fandango versus Sheamus. Fandango's finally back. And he also just got zero reaction. I was actually really worried about how dead the crowd was during this. Like I said, you saw maybe 2 people fandangoing.
I'll tell you who got a rise out of me, though. Samurai.
I second that emotion.
Is this over for Fandango? Is this like the
No. In no way is it over for Fandango. That was just the crowd tonight. Since the Raw after WrestleMania, the crowds have just been going downhill. I don't know what was like we said, we don't even know where they were. They didn't even want to say where they were because the crowd was so dead.
This is the crowd that gave Ziggler no reaction, who's at least been on television since WrestleMania, despite being a little derailed by a concussion himself. But Fandango just comes back from having his momentum derailed from a concussion, and he returns at the worst venue in front of the worst fans that could possibly receive him. At least he got some boos for dancing in the middle of a match. I can give him that much.
Oh gosh, that was embarrassing.
And oh man, was anybody else scared as soon as Sheamus' music hit? Were you thinking, wow, way to come back and get beat?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
So I haven't determined the exact city. They didn't put the actual city that it's in. They just put a state. And guess what state it is?
Indiana.
Worse.
Oh damn it.
It does start with
Arkansas.
an I.
Illinois.
Nope.
Idaho.
Worse. It's the worst state that starts with an I.
Idaho.
Nope.
Iowa.
Yeah,
Iowa. Because you can go for miles and see nothing but corn.
I don't even know where on a map Iowa is. I'll admit that ignorance.
Could somebody from Iowa please call us and defend their crowd?
I hate to know this, but it's right below Wisconsin, off a little to the left. It's like you got Wisconsin, Illinois, and then Iowa's just kind of sitting there underneath Minnesota, being like, "Oh, hey guys."
It was Green Bay.
God. Oh, God. Well, hopefully Raw never goes back to Iowa because this crowd was just atrocious. So that match ended with Fandango walking out and taking the count-out loss against Sheamus. And all I can say is just thank goodness it wasn't a bro kick out of nowhere for the victory.
I was really.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yet. So I support.
Could this perhaps be something we see in the future? Do you guys have any interest in seeing a prolonged Sheamus Fandango type of program?
No, because that would involve Sheamus winning all the matches. Fandango will get no momentum from it.
That and also include Sheamus dancing at some point. And I don't want to see that. God, like he attempted to in the match. Let's say that. And it was god-awful.
You don't want to have a Sheamus dance-off? Like, you know what Sheamus could do? He could, like, pull something out like Vladimir Kozlov did and do, like, the dip dancing.
I don't want to think about that. No, what's this? Get away from Sheamus and dancing and his pale skin and his red hair. Get him out of here. I don't care.
You made me want to see Sheamus in a dance-off. No.
So where does Fandango go from here? I mean, we're going towards the Money in the Bank, obviously, so he could stay busy just moving around with all the people involved with that. But afterwards, from there, we've only seen him with Chris Jericho. Yeah, he hasn't been with anybody else.
Back of the line.
Thanks to Zack Ryder with the concussion.
Back of the line, eh?
I don't think that this. Everybody was talking about how Fandango is like going to be such a big thing. I didn't think he was going to really get anything out of that whole that big pop that he got after WrestleMania. I thought that was just a fluke, and everybody was kind of running into it like it's the best thing in the world. I think the fad factor that went out the week afterward.
Well, it did. But I thought he was getting decent heel heat, but like before that even happened, though.
Yeah, before WrestleMania. I mean, you don't even think that they didn't have big plans for this guy based solely on the fact that they had him debut at WrestleMania and win over one of the biggest stars in the company's history?
I think they had plans for him, the same as they've had plans for everybody else that turned out to be nothing. Look at Hayden Vanson.
Who?
Exactly. Hayden Vanson had a promo cut in the middle of SmackDown, and the next week even, he got fired from the company. And it wasn't from he got some kind of huge arrest happen or something like that. They just went, he's going to be so good, we need him on TV, and then 5 days later or whatever it was, he's out of the company.
Are you talking about Kazarni?
No. Kazarni was a piece of shit too, but I mean, but look at, they've done it multiple times for a whole lot of people. Eric Escobar, big push at first, went nowhere. Drew McIntyre, they tried their best, but they ended up going nowhere with them. They tried it with Ryback, and they ended up making Ryback into a complete loss. Now they're giving him Cryback, and they're doing this kind of stuff with a lot of people.
Honestly, Cryback might work better.
Vladimir Kozlov. He went from being this guy who was like the only person who could actually put up a fight against Triple H to dancing and tagging up with Santino. I think Fandango is just another instance of that. I don't think he had any chance whatsoever. If he would have won the Intercontinental Championship, which isn't even set in stone, they might not have been planning that. If he would have, it would have been a transitional run.
You guys want to know what Vladimir's doing now?
Dancing?
No, actually, he was just recently on an episode of Burn Notice as a no-name Russian thug.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't watch that episode yet. I love that show.
It was just this recent one last Thursday.
So Tony, you don't believe that he would have at least hit his ceiling as a mid-card heel and gotten a decent little run with the Intercontinental title if that's what they were planning for him?
It depends on how you classify decent. Well, he would have had a Kofi Kingston run.
No, that's not a decent title run. A decent title run for a heel, I would say, is about like 5, 6 months.
I could see him having like a honky tonk man run.
Yeah.
I would have thought that he would have been dropping it. He would have won it at that Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and he would have dropped it at SummerSlam at the most.
No, honky tonk man should be Fandango's manager. That's like a match made in heaven.
You got to dance to that music.
Well, honky tonk man can be like, I don't understand this fangled music that Fandango's into, but the kid's got moves. I'll tell you what.
The greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time sees talent.
Then we could have a feud between him and Zeb Coulter.
Oh, that'd be great. And then Ric Flair could come in with Dolph Ziggler, and then we could have like a moment where all these guys are in the ring.
And they look like each other.
And Flair's just bleeding for some reason.
You look at him and he bleeds.
Woo! Woo! You said that word too sharp. Oh my God, I'm bleeding.
Why don't they just make us the GMs?
If you're going by predictions, you should tell everybody what happened during our chat earlier.
I'll tell you exactly when we get there. I got it marked here. So the next match we had was Chris Jericho first came out and went to the commentary booth. Then we had an actual match, which was Ryback versus The Miz. And I got to tell you, when I first saw this coming out, I was like, okay, Miz is just going to get absolutely crushed. He stands no chance here whatsoever. But what ends up happening is Ryback calls for the match to be stopped because his leg was in too much pain. And so your winner by forfeit is The Miz.
Thank you, Ryback. I get some freaking points.
Thank you, Ryback.
Yeah, he's really earning that title, huh?
Well, at least he didn't lose by a pin or submission. I guess.
Did they actually start this during SmackDown? Because I don't watch SmackDown anymore, and I did not know anything about this whole Cryback thing.
No, I think Jericho just made it up on the spot.
No, they started on SmackDown, but Jericho made it up on the spot. He just said, you're built up as this big beast known as Ryback, but you're really, and when you think of it, with all the whining you've done, you should be called Cryback. Wah, 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 because he was favoring his leg or something like that. And I forget who even faced on SmackDown this week. But that's where it all started, and then it continued on to tonight. And, man, is his heel career ever going up in smoke just as fast as his babyface career did now, isn't it?
Even faster. Are you kidding? It's been, what, a month and a half since he turned heel?
Since April, 8th to now?
Yeah.
So,
okay. Maybe a little bit longer, but still. I mean, he was that babyface for almost a year, just coming out there and just destroying guys.
And now he's Cryback.
And now he's Ryback.
Does anybody get the impression
mighty has fallen.
that they're doing this? There was that rumor going around that Vince doesn't see money in a, quote, 6'3", 250-pound member of the roster. Does anybody else think that they're kind of doing this as a means to get him out of the company?
Who, Ryback?
Yeah.
I absolutely could see that. I could see him losing to Jericho because Jericho hasn't won a match in a while, and bye-bye Ryback.
Or Cryback, he goes back to developmental. I mean, they actually end up cutting him in the future.
That guy was in developmental for like 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, would it be bad if I say that it doesn't seem like he was in developmental for that long? Does he come off to you as a guy who got really polished and seasoned in his tenure?
No.
No, not whatsoever. And with, I don't know, the heel turn did not help. It certainly did not help, but I don't know. Has this run made him look extremely one-dimensional in comparison to the rest of the roster, and that's why he's probably failing as horrible as he is?
Yes, absolutely. Antonio Cesaro has more charisma. I mean, as stone-faced as Antonio Cesaro is most of the time, I would much rather watch him than see Ryback march around the ring and just, meat hook clothesline. Oh, it's the 4 moves of doom again.
So yeah, the whole 2 of them, the meat hook and the shell shock.
And they didn't even explain where that shell shock came. It had no sense behind the name. You just get those people who have a gimmick, and then their finishing move has nothing to do with their gimmick, and you just kind of go, what?
Well, it could be worse. I mean, we have Dolph Ziggler has the zigzag. I think that's terrible. It's just as bad as the move is.
The move's bad. I like the name. If it was something else, then I could accept it.
I'd be okay with it being a non-finisher signature move, but as he hit him with the zigzag and knocked him out.
I really like that he was using the super kick for a while.
Yeah,
I should continued that.
What if you instead of calling it zigzag his move now, what if they use zigzag as the name of the super kick? If they were hinting that he was going to change that as his finisher around Survivor Series last year.
That's not a bad idea.
I don't know. Dolph's never really had, other than the super kick, which I think he pulls off rather nicely, and he hasn't really used it for an extended period of time as a finish. He's never really had that really good eye-popping, finisher, has he? He's had the zigzag.
His finisher for a while was the sleeper hold.
Yeah, right. Sleeper hold, and then before that was the zigzag that he still uses.
But I'll tell you this: when he does get that eye-popping finisher, he can execute it so well, and it will change his whole career.
Well, I'm sure it will. I mean, it's certainly not the zigzag, that's for sure. But he's had it forever, so maybe that will be what he retires with, is just being the master of the zigzag.
What is he, Rey Mysterio now?
Well, if you're a master of your finisher like Rey Mysterio is with the 619, then absolutely.
He does a pretty sweet famouser, at least. He can even bring that up.
I love the famouser.
He does it rather nice, yes. Why hasn't that ever been his finisher? It certainly looks just as devastating as the zigzag anyway.
More, I would think.
Billy Gunn used it, so...
Yeah. Billy Gunn's was terrible. Goodness gracious. So reeling it back into Raw here. Next thing we had was Mark Henry coming out on stage. He actually cut what I would say was a good speech, but it really just felt more like time filler when it was all said and done. Any other thoughts on that? Anyone want to add something to that?
He made a lot of good points.
Yeah.
about his career, because ever since he came to the WWF after he won the World's Strongest Man competition, he was just kind of like flavor of the month.
Is that
but
the
then
competition was called?
Sorry, say again?
Is that what the competition was called?
Well, no, he actually won the World's Strongest Man competition.
Really?
I mean, yeah, he did. He was actually the World's Strongest Man for a while. And they brought him in as like a developmental kind of, oh, yeah, look, we got the World's Strongest Man, and he's wrestling. And he actually turned out to be a good athlete, but JR was very cautious about him because he was injury prone, because he was so heavy on top, and his legs could not handle that much athletic ability. But he was there every day. He was been on the road ever since he started with the WWF, and he has put in his time and his dues, and they never gave him an opportunity at a WWE title, and it is long past due. They give Cena 11 titles, and he can't even fucking wrestle. I'm sorry. I thought it was a great promo.
And hats.
Yeah. Oh, God. And those fucking Wonder Woman wristbands. I'm sorry. I thought it was a great promo. He made a lot of good points.
Done? Sorry, I can't get done. Braeden, you wanted to pick up?
No, I really want to give this over to Tony because he brought up something really, really hilarious in our chat, and I'd love him to kind of just explain what he heard and why it was so funny to him.
Okay.
Before I go.
I gotta remember what that was, but I did have one other comment to say. Are we gonna gloss over the fact that Paul said sexual chocolate was the flavor of the month?
I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
What was the comment that I made there in the chat? I can't remember.
Something about boys. How he tried to be friends with the boys or something like that.
Yeah, that was so awkward. The phrase that he had said, if I remember correctly, was, I always had to pretend that I liked the boys.
Yes, that's it. Yes, that's exactly
just like, what?
Like, you knew what he was talking about, but you're just like, why you gotta say it that way?
Have you heard Mark Henry speak before? I mean, I'm gonna come over there and butter your bread.
I fucking love Mark Henry though. He's so awesome. I mean, he goes right up to the camera and just goes, I'm gonna say this like real clear or whatever like that, and he's just like, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Hey baby, how about I buy you a fish sandwich?
One of my favorite things is I remember when he first started doing the Hall of Pain, and he was walking out after beating up somebody, and a fan was like, "You suck, Mark Henry," and he's like, "Yeah, well then why am I over here and you over there, huh? Why am I over here and you over there?"
Mark Henry, great promos. That's what he'd do.
It's what
I don't know. Ever since the whole Hall of Pain thing started, I mean, the guy's really hit the peak of his career, wouldn't you say, in terms of his work?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He was absolutely a late bloomer.
Oh, literally
quite a bit.
and clearly figuratively. But I liked it. I think Henry's been doing great promos ever since this whole resurgence of his career started 2 years ago. I liked it. I really don't think it's going to lead to this WWE title win. That would probably be nice to see, and he's certainly just another giant for Cena to take down before his next program. But I'm at least somewhat invested in the title match. I mean, I'm more invested in Mark Henry challenging for the belt than, say, Ryback.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, if Mark Henry wins, I'm going to truly regret dropping him from my team.
Ooh. Yeah, and I love the fact that he's on my team. So that much more.
All right, so next we had a backstage segment where Mr. McMahon approaches Team Bricky, and he tells him, hey, you did a good job making the main event. Oh, no, you didn't. You gave away a match that could have been on pay-per-view for free. And we had a lot of these segments, actually. Triple H came back. I don't remember what Triple H said to them, and then Stephanie said something else. I don't know. It was basically just to show that Vicky was being torn between the three McMahons. And, gosh, at first I was okay with the McMahons coming back, but
I'm not.
They have not done anything with this. This is not enticing me. What is it leading towards? What is it leading towards?
A return of Shane. At least it's better.
Yes!
I swear, if Shane returns, I'll just be happy. I just want to hear his music again. I love it.
I think it's going to be a return for Linda.
That's what I was going to say.
No, don't say that.
Why did you desecrate that theme? That was so fucking great. Why did they give her, out of all people, the WrestleMania theme? My God, the fucking person who rings the bell has more experience than she does.
Howard Finkel had a better entrance song than she did.
So the next thing we had was the tag team match of CM Punk and Curtis Axel challenging against the Prime Time Players. This match ends with Punk hitting the GTS on Darren Young. However, before he goes to make the pin, Curtis Axel tags himself in by tagging against CM Punk's back and runs in and grabs the pin. Your winners, Curtis Axel and Curtis Axel. This whole match, I was just worried that CM Punk was going to screw it up and ruin this shining moment for Curtis Axel. But as I said earlier in the show, the torch has been passed. CM Punk going into this match and letting Curtis Axel come in and get the shine. Your new best in the world, the Intercontinental Champion, the third generation superstar, the best Paul Heyman guy, Curtis Axel.
I'll be quiet.
The perfect champion, if you will.
Yeah,
I got to add that one to the repertoire.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
You want to know what's more surprising? That the primetime players, the players, as they should be called, they're still together. It's been like a year and 3 months. You think they'd do something with them, or just like get rid of them entirely by now?
I thought they were going to be gone after they got rid of AEW.
Yeah. Well, I guess Titus is okay on the mic. Darren still sucks. I don't even understand why they have him still.
I think they're a good tag team.
They're a good tag team, but they haven't done anything. Like, they should have maybe won the tag team titles after
Boom.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. They should have, but then they just completely got rid of that, and then just have Kane and Daniel Bryan win, and now it's just.
I blame that not on them though. If anything, AEW kind of talking about Kobe Bryant in hotel rooms, and what else did he talked about Linda's campaign or something like that, and then he got fired.
Well, I think Continue. My bad.
Oh, I was just gonna say he really derailed their momentum, but I would have thought they were getting given at least one run together. Like, I think Titus is a very charismatic dude. Like, he could probably do something good in the mid card, even if it's without Darren as his partner. That bark itself, just
right.
More than having a career.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, wasn't the big deal was that, Linda didn't want to have anything to do with the WWE during her campaign run as senator or something like that, and AEW, said something about it during the interview, and she didn't like it or something like that?
I think it was just used as extra fodder to fire the guy.
Yeah.
I don't think they really had a problem with that.
He shouldn't have gotten fired. I understand fined and maybe suspended, but, I've heard a lot worse things said. No one's got fired. Quote, Jack Swagger getting arrested, even though he didn't say it, he got arrested.
He should have gotten promoted.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the technical prowess of Mr. Curtis Axel? Because that was a damn fine clothesline and a damn fine drop kick he delivered tonight. He was rolling there for a while.
Best in the world.
I like the drop kick, but I give the clothesline a 4 out of 10.
Oh. And that white IC belt, it looks pretty good on the guy. I think it's going to be sitting there for quite a while.
I think they touched it up a little bit too. It looks a little bit more polished. If you've noticed. No, I think they actually put maybe newer plates or something on it, or gave it a new strap or something. I mean, it looks
the same.
Yeah, but it looks
better.
shiny.
I don't think I think they took a coat of turtle wax to it or something. I think.
Yeah, probably.
Did anybody notice how shiny that thing looks now?
Yeah, it looks pretty damn shiny.
Yes.
I think it's just because it's on such a bright superstar.
Oh, right.
That was smooth, Paden.
10 points.
Those lines on the ladies.
Any final thoughts on this match, the tag match between CM Punk and Curtis Axel and the Primetime Players?
4 out of 10.
I really like the tension they're developing between Paul Heyman and CM Punk. I think it's going to explode and just into something that we can't even see right now.
It's all over our eyes from the
Oh.
The nerdgasm.
Oh my god.
Shout out to Mr. Michael Burhan, who could not be with us this evening. So the next match we had was between Kaitlyn and Alicia Fox, one of the most storied feuds that we've had this year.
God, if I had a nickel for every time Kaitlyn does something good, I would have a nickel.
With the match at Payback.
Yes.
Well, since this was an Alicia Fox match, I wonder if Cameron really enjoyed it.
Oh, but if you want to really talk about being rich from this, if I had a nickel for every time Alicia Fox was a face or a heel, depending on who her opponent was, I think I'd have at least $1 million by now.
Make that $2 million.
Was she really a heel, though? Didn't she blow kisses to the crowd at the beginning of the match?
Yeah, but she does that regardless. It's just, to me,
Yeah.
it's weird when you're facing a baby face on SmackDown, then on Raw you're facing a heel, and then mix it up for the next week. And she just seems to be just that person to take a fall no matter what the person's alignment is.
Yeah.
At least Kaitlyn has better theme music now.
Wait, it changed? It changed?
Well, it's not that da 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 da.
I still hate this one, though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's way better. It's
To me,
way
I just hear diva music.
Dead silence would be better.
I'm pretty sure the only Divas music I remember is AJ's and Natalia's ripoff of the Heart theme.
I can remember Trish's. I love her.
Oh.
Whoa.
Lita's was pretty bad.
You want to talk about awful themes, Layla's.
Oh, God.
I'm insatiable and I need a man, or some shit.
Could you go back to the Michelle McCool Layla music, please?
You're not enough for me.
Yeah, that was
Exactly.
Oh, here we are singing all the various divas.
Nobody ever wants to do a Divas theme on the outro, yet everybody's volunteering.
Anybody want to do Sunny now? Anybody?
If Dace was here, he would do it.
Okay.
Wait, whose theme song?
Sunny?
Ooh.
Oh, I used to know this.
I was like, you know you want me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Ooh, yeah.
We're clearly huge fans of the division here, folks. It just wondering.
So what actually happened this evening? Kaitlyn won. I didn't even write how. AJ Lee comes out and ends up showing a picture of fat Kaitlyn up on the screen. And
She was so fine. Ooh, yeah.
And the saddest thing is, this wasn't even the worst Divas segment of the night.
Oh, we'll get to that pretty soon.
I was actually hoping when AJ was building that whole thing up. Remember those provocative modeling photos you took when you? I was actually hoping it was like an actual provocative modeling photo. I was like, "Ooh, this might be nice."
The fans actually reacted to that. I couldn't believe it was even that popular amongst them.
Well, it was this Iowa crowd.
They love their Divas wrestling.
Yeah, but they don't got no internets in Iowa. How do they know about it?
Speaking from somebody who's done the Divas tournament, I know that those pictures are popular.
So I touched on the backstage segments with Vicky and the McMahons earlier, but I need to talk about this again to set up the next match. I forget who exactly said it, but Stephanie was like, oh, well, what's going to be on Raw next? And in our private chat that we were having, Tony Mango said, well, I'll tell you what's not going to be next, a singles victory for Cody Rhodes. And who else would be appearing on the ramp but Cody Rhodes coming out for a singles match? Now, the more significant thing about this match is who he was facing, Antonio Cesaro. First off, that he came out wearing these really cool yellow, old-school Ric Flair kind of trunks where he had like his initials on the side and this really cool script. But then Zeb Coulter came out, and first he touched on some of the hot topics on right now. He touched on the gay marriage and how the sanctity of marriage is being attacked and all that, which I'm actually surprised didn't get a bigger thing. I guess it was Iowa. So but he introduces the return of Jack Swagger, and I gotta say, I like this. I saw them standing there with Coulter in the middle holding the mic, and Cesaro and Swagger standing there with their hands behind their backs. I can dig it.
Except for the fact that Cesaro completely is against what that original gimmick was about. You know, not having foreigners because it was supposed to be for people who are born in America. But I can, continuity aside, it's a good little faction.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to recruit people to fight off your true enemies.
Yes. So That was that, and then Cesaro, of course, goes on to defeat Cody Rhodes. So Tony was right in an aspect that, of course, even though he's competing on the show, he was not going to be getting a singles victory.
Am I the only one that feels like they should add another person to here? I mean, I kind of think that they're overpacked with trios, but...
No, I absolutely agree. I think this could even go to being a 4 or a 5-person group.
I just can't think of who would really fit in there. I mean, maybe Justin Gabriel?
Well,
if they're going to throw somebody in there, like...
They could bring up people, but as far as people that exist now...
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Clearly, this is a group for Bo Dallas.
You know what? Maybe not now, but down the line, maybe they could align themselves with the Wyatt family depending on what they're all about.
Or the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Shield of Justice in America, America.
Shield.
It's a possibility.
I would think Kurt Hawkins is like the main one because they have nothing for that guy, and they haven't used him in 5 years now.
They haven't used him since John Laurinaitis had him ripping up posters at Over the Limit.
Oh my God!
Nope, the last time that Kurt Hawkins was on pay-per-view was when him and Tyler Rex lost to Ryback last year, Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The last time that he was on TV was when Ryback was relevant.
Yes, both of which do not exist anymore.
You know what? They could just add Zack Ryder. He isn't doing anything, and he's an American.
Right.
Yeah, he's got his hair grown out. That means he could do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just have him style it like Swagger, and he could be maybe his pseudo brother.
You know who they need to feud with? Epico and Primo.
Ooh.
America.
Here's another great person for Zeb's group. Sin Cara's definitely going to be the next Zeb Coulter guy.
Yeah. Have him come out and unmask himself, and he's actually white.
I fooled all you fuckers.
And then have him cut the best promo in ages. After he's not speaking for the first 3 years he was here, they could do it. That's
what they should have saved Dean Ambrose for. It should have just taken off the mask and it was Dean Ambrose under there all along.
It's spray on tan, bitches.
Well, that's why they dim the lights down so it doesn't give away.
That's awful. That's awful.
See, once he takes off the mask, though, it turns out that it was actually Sin Cara Negro. He has to take that mask off.
It's Unico.
And then it's a Rey Mysterio mask.
Speaking of this match, though, did anybody notice that Sandow seems to be getting a little more irritated with Rhodes? Rhodes seems to be getting a little more irritated with Sandow.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Something going to be going on between Rhodes scholars in the future. You think a potential program between the two of them after Money in the Bank?
Yep.
I hope not.
I
thought they had an amicable split a year ago.
Or at least half a year ago.
What happened with that?
Yeah.
Wasn't it right after WrestleMania?
Is it bad that I don't want to see these two feud and have them be kept as far away as possible if they're just not going to tag team anymore?
Yeah, me neither. I have no interest in seeing these two fight each other. And who are you going to turn babyface quick enough for that feud to mean anything to anyone other than being a stupid pre-show match?
Which apparently even the Shield aren't immune to being pre-showed, as their tag team title match against the Usos was announced to be the live kickoff, even though it's not kicking off the pay-per-view, it's kicking off on YouTube. Their WWE tag title match against the Usos will be this pay-per-view's pre-show. I guess first Sheamus, now the Shield. Yikes.
Indeed.
That's all I gotta say. Yikes.
I can't make words out of it. Poor Shield. I don't want to pull the I told you so horn too much, but oh my gosh, why'd they give them the titles?
No, but on top of that, it's not just the titles. I mean, the Divas title rematch between AJ and Kaitlyn, that's making the actual pay-per-view card, but the Shield's tag title match is what's getting put on the kickoff? What? I mean, I thought the Divas were going to get on this card regardless, so it was either that or the Intercontinental title match, considering The Miz is going to be involved and he's been king of the pre-show for the last half a year. But the Shield, I I did not expect them to be kicking things off at all. This to me is an actual legitimate surprise.
Yeah, and if that's what the pre-show is, where's Tons of Funk gonna wrestle?
Oh my God!
Where have they been? I miss me some Lord reference.
They were just on last week when they came out dancing with some like random.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and they were singing too. That was just awful.
We forgot about that for a reason.
Oh my God, with JoJo. And they started singing, and I'm like, oh my God, my eardrums are gonna bleed. Oh.
So I'm the only one who actually saw this come in that would be on the pre-show?
No, I guess so, yeah, because I thought maybe if they were going to put anything on the pre-show, it was going to be Curtis Axel defending the Intercontinental title. I did not see them putting the Shield on the pre-show at all, considering they've been on pay-per-view since Elimination Chamber. So, I don't know. Really odd.
All right, we're talking Monday Night Raw here on the Monday Night Raw postgame show here on Mega Powers Radio. If you want to join the conversation, you can do so by calling in area code 760-512-7247. That's area code 760-512-7247. Let us know what your thoughts on tonight's Monday Night Raw is. Give us a question if you wish. Whatever you want to do, come on and join us. We enjoy people joining the party. So, next.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes.
Oh, boy.
First,
yes.
we had a commercial for this awesome Divas reality show that we have coming up on the E! Network. And to help promote this wonderful show, we had the Bellas in the back. First speaking with two random people that we have absolutely no idea who the heck they are. I'm guessing that they're also on the Divas show. And then random other Divas decide to show up, and random war of words goes on, and my ears bled.
And on top of that, they were doing the whole high school show camera pan around the room every 5 seconds. They were kind of going around and focusing on the entire group, but making it artsy looking with the camera.
It's funny you say
pan around
because there was even at one point where someone said some kind of insult, and like all the people on her side went or something like that.
They went church.
Church.
The Funkadactyls went church. Like he was preaching or something. Sorry, I understand black speak. I knew exactly what they were talking about.
Oh my God.
The acting was god awful. The delivery was off. Things were awkward. There was the camera panning around, not stopping like a motherfucker. And if this is the way to try and get people to watch that whole E-Diva show with the Bellas, wow, what a horrible way to try and promote that to your audience.
What do you mean? Did you not think this was the best way to promote it? You have the Divas who are going to be on the show watching it. They're hot, and they're going to be fighting. You know what that means? Maybe a nip slip, maybe a cake.
I'm not trying to make a positive out of the negative here. All right, this was an absolute abortion. I knew that this was horrible like 10 seconds into it. It's like, okay, the Bellas, okay, I can enjoy looking at the Bellas for a little bit. But then they had those other two random chicks. I was like, oh, this is over. This is done. Okay, cut away. Cut away. Oh, God, there's more people. They're still talking. Oh, my God. Oh, the bees. The bees.
My eyes. And it didn't even really matter what they were talking about. I feel like they didn't even give them a script. They were just like, we're going to promote the Total Divas show. Just go on and talk about whatever the fuck you want. And it was atrocious.
Oh, god awful.
This was the Eli Cottonwood of promos.
What about the genesis of McGillicuddy?
Oh, I'm sorry. This was worse than the gobbledygooker.
Meh. I'll give it 4 out of 10.
4? That's extremely generous.
Just because they were hot. That's all. That's what I'm attributing that score to.
I'll give it a -4 out of 100.
I could give it a 5, but I'm going to give it a 4.
Oh, it was an absolute abortion. I agree with Paden. There was no saving that segment as soon as you realized they were talking to people you've never seen on your television screen before.
Oh, my God. And poor Natty. She really deserves better.
Hey, they're the smiling face of your TV.
Yeah.
At least she didn't fart.
Tony, you have your thoughts on this?
Total shit. I mean, you can't get any worse than this. Like, if this was the whole selling point of the TV show, beyond constant promo commercial of the Bella Twins standing there going, we have a show, we have a show, we have a show, we have a show. There's this show coming out called Total Divas. It's about us.
Oh,
that's all we've seen so far. They decided that to up the ante, they would have them come out, say that they have a show, and everybody else would just kind of throw more shit into the pile. And it You're giving him a 4 out of 10. You're giving him a -4. I tell you what, I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him a worst Mark Out Moment of the Year award at the end of the year.
Oh.
You know what, Tony? You're
They're
just
a front runner for sure.
Tony, you're just being jealous that they're getting a show before you're getting a show on TV.
Hey, now I'm
Total
apparently...
Diva. Don't worry, Tony will get his Total Mango fairly
And you know what the
shortly on the E Network too.
You know what the saddest thing is? There's a very high likelihood that this show could be a total success.
And that's going to be the best thing about it. And it's good because we'll all look back at history and point to this promo as a reason why this show will be amazing.
I would not be surprised if they created a Worst Divas Moment Slammy Award for this promo, because that, oh my God.
Well, if it is a successful show, will it be promoted as much as the WWE app?
You know what's funny? They were showing all these videos of all these great wrestlers from the past, people like Lou Thez. Well, I'm pretty sure people like Lou Thez were rolling over in their graves after seeing this segment.
I think Ric Flair is, too.
Lou Thez even dead. Lou Thez might actually still be alive. I don't know that for sure.
He's
watching that,
an embarrassment.
How can you tell he flops around like he's a dying fish?
If he isn't dead, this probably killed him.
Yeah.
I think if Mae Young saw that segment, she would have died right there. Right then and there.
No, that ain't her, man. She's going to be alive forever.
Forever.
Forever, ever, ever.
Is that what you said? Because I can't understand what she said, because I couldn't ever understand what she's saying.
So we all going to church right now?
Yes.
Church.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Move.
I don't think that it's like legal to give this any more thought than what we already have.
No. I hope Total Diva fails, and it's all because of this promo. I was indifferent to them having a Diva show before that promo. That promo advertised against me, and failing to do so makes me want to see their show fail, so I never have to lay witness to something that bad ever again.
Understandable.
Do you imagine, if it actually, or what if it, no, you know what, if it does bad, then they're going to be doing a lot of crossover to try to promote it to help them. You know what, I hope it's good, so hopefully they'll just leave it alone.
Maybe this segment was so bad that it actually didn't sink the show, it sank the whole network.
USA just lost all its ratings.
TNA starts getting out on top.
No, what are you talking about? They're gone. I thought we established this.
Yeah, they come back from the grave.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
We won the Thursday Night Wars on keeping kayfabe. It's over. So after that segment was done, we cut back to Michael Cole, which I was never so happy to see Michael Cole in my life. Ever.
Yeah, what's your beef with Michael Cole? What do you not like about him?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of beef with Michael Cole. I'm just stating the fact that I was very happy to see him at this moment.
In your whole life, that was probably the happiest you've ever been able to see an announcing booth.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I have anything particularly against Michael Cole, but it's not like when Michael Cole comes, like, oh man, it's Michael Cole. Shh, everybody.
May I have your attention, please?
Just seeing the Raw announce team was able to tell you that god-awful burn of the eyes with acid segment was actually over.
But you know what? They almost made up for it with the news that we got next. And Braeden, I know you're probably the most excited person here, so I will allow you to break the news here.
Oh, in terms of that, the Wyatt family, yes, Bray and his followers, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, will be debuting live on Monday Night Raw next week.
They're coming.
They're coming. We're coming. Well, the week before Money in the Bank, so that'll certainly be interesting. Have no idea who they're going to kind of put in a program with. I guess it doesn't really matter in the long run. Just have them come out and do some sort of creepy entrance. They squash somebody. Just kind of to establish themselves just 1 week before the next big pay-per-view. But I'm actually extremely excited about this. He's one of the main people from the developmental territory of NXT that I've been waiting to be called up to the main roster since basically the dawn of this year. So certainly some very interesting stuff ahead of us, gentlemen.
What I can maybe see happening is we'll see him coming on Raw, and they won't get involved with anybody. It'll be more of an introductory promo where they come out, oh, you heard we're coming. Well, now we're here. And we'll see them get involved with someone at Money in the Bank, possibly maybe in the not All-Stars Money in the Bank. We'll see Dean Ambrose looking like he's about to get the case, but we'll see the Wyatt family come out and do something to stop him and hurt him, and that'll launch pad them into something with the Shield.
I don't think they're going Shield yet.
You think they're going to hold off on that for a little? Yeah, I guess that would be something they could do at like Survivor Series.
If they're even going to cross paths at all, do you think that that's imminent? Do you think that's something they're going to do, like, for sure?
I think it would be a missed opportunity if they don't. I mean, I agree that it's not something they have to rush into. They could hold off on it, but you know what? Since the Shield's already losing so much steam, I feel like you almost have to get into that sooner than later.
Yeah, I would say it'd be more beneficial if the Wyatts have some sort of momentum behind them rather than just first debuting. So, yeah, we'll definitely wait and see.
I'll play. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I'll play the pessimistic card here and say they're going to come out next week and they're going to have a match with two randomly thrown together people, kind of like Justin Gabriel and Sin Cara.
Okay.
Just one of those kind of stupid things like that. They get a squash match and that's it. And they don't start a program with anybody until after Money in the Bank, where they have something going on with maybe the Usos.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. I mean, like what Paden said, they come out, next week on Raw, cut a promo, hey, we're here, and then after Money in the Bank is after this week's Raw, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so after Money in the Bank, then they come out, have a match with somebody thrown together, like Tony said, and then, they start getting into it and start disrupting other people's matches and getting a little bit more deep into why they are there. I think that's a sound strategy, and along with what Paden said, you gotta put them up against the Shield at some time, because if you don't, that is one opportunity that slips through your fingers for ratings and money.
Drew, any thoughts?
You guys covered all the main points, but the big thing I want to know is Bray gonna wear those white pants when he wrestles?
Not after Labor Day, he's not.
All right, then. Let's move on.
I've been seeing him come out in this, like, apron type thing. Like, that's kind of weird. I can't see him still rocking that, but maybe he will.
An apron?
Yeah, he comes out in, like, a butcher's apron.
Oh, my gosh. No, this reminds me. One time in, like, 2005, at some OVW event, I was there with a friend. There's this guy in an apron, and I said hi to him, and he screamed at me, and it scared me, so no aprons, no.
Drew is afraid of aprons, everybody.
Drew goes to a barbecue and
apron, I'm going to call him Abdullah the Butcher.
I'm just picturing Drew, like, having nightmares now where, like, he just, like, goes to like, get food somewhere, and then someone turns around, they're wearing an apron, and they have an evil look on their face, and then they, like, go and chomp in his head, and then he wakes up and, like, ah! And then, like, sits up.
I hit myself in the process, Just
runs away Home Alone style from a barbecue because somebody's cooking with an apron on that says "Hail to the Chief."
They're coming. They're coming for me in my sleeps.
Exactly, they're coming for Drew.
All right, so next we have our final match of the evening. It's Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena. During this match, we had Mark Henry come out to try to distract John Cena. Well, he didn't really try to. He just kind of walked down there and just walked around the ring. He didn't particularly do anything to interfere. But then we had Dolph Ziggler who come out, who actually did try to interfere in the match. He climbed up to the top rope in the corner, which distracted Alberto Del Rio, allowing John Cena to hit the AA and get the pin, winning the match. What did you say?
F you.
F you.
Okay. After the match, Mark Henry walks into the ring with the WWE title and taunts John Cena with it, but eventually just ends up walking out. And this was just that. It was not a pay-per-view match like Vince McMahon thought it was going to be.
It was okay.
Most advertised Raw main events are usually not pay-per-view quality. That rarely happens. Although, as of late, there have been really, really good TV matches, but this was certainly not going to be one of them.
I thought we had a handful of good matches tonight. We had the Shield match. Randy Orton Kane was a pretty decent match. Even the Dolph Ziggler Jinder Mahal match, for what it was not bad.
No, the work was certainly there. But I would say that this is just one of those, I don't want to say completely typical John Cena main event matches, because, he did get help from Ziggler, where if he didn't distract Del Rio, would he have still lost? Oh, yeah, definitely. But at the same time, it was like inevitable that Cena was going to win. Unless they did some big finish where Henry just kind of lays both guys out and then goes solely after Cena. But
good.
Yeah.
I thought it was better than I expected it was going to be. I really just expected John Cena to come out and do his 4 moves of doom, and then we're all done, and Mark Henry comes out and smash. But I really thought Cena gave it a good effort, and that is the only time this year you will ever hear me compliment John Cena. I thought Cena gave it a good effort, and Alberto Del Rio really helped him out. There was one where they had a whole bunch of counters that was really nicely executed. I really liked the whole sequence between Mark Henry and John Cena, just because I like seeing John Cena shit his pants. And if I was in the ring with Mark Henry, I would shit my pants too, no matter how big I am.
I wonder unless you wore an apron.
If he was wearing an apron, you'd shit your pants.
Yes.
And anybody else notice that Del Rio's kind of becoming the new master of the German suplex?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because he's got to be throwing the best ones around, at least today.
Who else is even doing it?
Well, maybe people in TNA, but
Brock Lesnar, when he comes
that company no longer exists.
Oh, Brock Lesnar still does have a nasty German suplex. That is true.
When he shows up.
Antonio Cesaro does, but he only has it 1/5 of the time.
No, for him it's just called suplex.
Oh, God, that was good. That was good, Paden. Oh.
You know what they call a German suplex in Germany?
Suplex?
Damn straight.
They call it Krusty Burger.
And be even more surprised, that was not what actually closed off Raw. They did kind of a repeat of the same Wyatt promo that we seen earlier in the night, and that actually closed Raw over John Cena and Mark Henry themselves.
Super Cena.
I thought that was rather interesting.
Yeah, I thought so as well. You know, it's something that you don't usually see video promos in Raw very often, and the fact that they did that for the Wyatt family, this shows that they have big plans. They're willing to end it with this over Cena.
The last time I remember doing that, ending it with a video promo, was when the Chris Jericho End of the World promos were playing. I remember they would close on Raw with that, but I mean, to be in that league, that's a pretty big deal. I said this before, I've been craving something different with these Wyatt promo videos, and these actually had a little bit of a different flavor to it. I mean, it was showing this chair rocking, and it wasn't like lots of crazy jump cuts a lot. I mean, it was just the chair rocking slowly for a continuous few, like almost a minute, and then at the very, very end, just a split second of a guy with a lamb's face on.
Oh, yeah, that was
scream?
creepy as fuck.
Yeah, there was a little screaming to it as well, as if the video was just about getting cut off or something like that.
Yeah, it was like, pop, or whatever. It was just like loud screaming sound. And then they had Wyatt kind of rehearsing something, and it sounded like he was speaking in 2 different languages to me. It might have just been gibberish in between. But
I thought he was chanting.
Yeah, it sounded like he was speaking in 2 different tongues, basically. So yeah, these definitely had a different sort of vibe and feel to them. Paden, I would definitely agree with you for that, because there was the one that played earlier in the show, and then they did a similar one with the second promo that actually ended the show. It was how they closed out the night, and I'm all in favor of that.
It's all a ruse, and Hayden Vanson's going to pop out instead.
Oh my goodness gracious! All right, guys, let's go around the horn. Give your final thoughts about tonight's Monday Night Raw. Paul, your final thoughts?
Good, not great.
Drew?
It's in the middle of the road. Like, there are some good things, I guess. You know, I was a bit down on it when we were talking in the chat, but it just turned out, after thinking about it, it was just an okay Raw. Besides for that horrible Diva segment that I love and you guys just hate. Besides for that, it was okay.
Braeden?
It was a good show. It certainly wasn't on the same apex of a level that we seen 2 weeks ago with the first Raw post-Payback. They had a lot to work off of, and apparently it was written by wrestling minds rather than soap opera minds, but we won't get too much into that. But it still continues the wave of me ordering the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I still think they're doing a good job of building up to it, and it wasn't the best Raw in the world, but I think it still continued to build up what it needed to, while having just a bit of ridiculous filler and stupid shit that kind of knocks it down a level.
Tony?
it's a shame that the only thing memorable about this whole episode of Raw was the Awful Divas segment. But the rest of it, even though it was kind of going through the motions, it was serviceable.
I thought I think I'm a little bit more optimistic about this Raw than you guys. I actually thought this was a pretty good show. I thought we had a few decent matches on there. We had the Shield tag team match that I thought was really good. The Randy Orton Kane match was very exciting and absolutely fun with all the play they were going on between Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Orton. The final match with Del Rio and Cena was pretty good. Even the Rhodes Cesaro match was pretty good. We saw a lot of shine given to Curtis Axel tonight. I mean, what they're developing there with him in general is great. I mean, he's future best in the world. Okay, you got to at least say that. Maybe not right now, but that guy is well on his path to being the best in the world.
I'll give you that. I will give you that.
Yeah. All right. All right. So we'll go around the horn here once again, and we'll give our final plugs for the evening before we send it off. So, Paul, anything you want to throw out there, letting people in the world know what you're doing?
This 4th of July week coming up, I will be at O'Finley's Bar and Grill in Richland Center, Wisconsin on Wednesday and Friday. And on Thursday, I will be DJing at the Phoenix Center Bowling Alley and Bar in Richland Center, Wisconsin. Free karaoke and bacon on Thursday. And if you're going around WWE.com, there's a really nice article, 10 of the best backstage feuds.
Oh, free karaoke and bacon?
Free bacon.
My God.
I feel like that just got grazed over pretty soon.
You don't even have to do the karaoke to get free bacon. Starts at 9 p.m. and they just fry up a whole bunch of bacon for the rest of the night.
Yummy.
God, this is the greatest gimmick ever to get people indoors. Why doesn't TNA do that? I would go to TNA.
Maybe we have to start advertising for our shows.
Thursday Night Wars with bacon.
Drew White, man, what's up, man? Tell us about what you got going on in the world of Drew.
God, I don't know if I want to plug the stupid bounce house thing again. Hang on. Okay, so you can follow me on Twitter, I guess. I do post articles on Fanboys Anonymous whenever I'm not lazy, which I have been for the past week because I've told Tony I'd post something, but I've been lazy. And you know what? Screw it. I'll do it. So if you live in the Indianapolis, Indiana area and you need a bounce house or cornhole stuff, go to BigBlastRentals.com and look at our fine line of bounce houses, including the 3-in-1 bounce house. We have a gigantic slide one. We have Paden's favorite, the Sergeant Slaughter bounce house. And for those with a feminine side, we have the Princess bounce house that Paden actually loves more than the Sergeant Slaughter one. So, again, you can call 765-212-1521 to get more information or go to BigBlastRentals.com. And
fucking bullshit!
And fuck you. God, that was the best. Okay, done. And you, Tony, what do you got? Everyone's good.
No. I'm in charge here. Tony, you can go next.
I thought you just said that.
All right, obviously, as mentioned earlier, fanboysanonymous.com for all things geek. Go to outonlimbs.com for all things social commentary and brutally honest opinions related. And go to smarkoutmoment.com for anything wrestling related. You could also check an upcoming article, a Bleacher Report, that I'll be having later on this week, where I flat out say that the Usos are going to get fucked over by this Shield feud.
That's the spirit.
Although that is not going to be the title of the article, because Bleacher Report does not like that.
Oh, my God.
All right. And Braeden.
Okay, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/SpoonBeast for many things that Fanboys Anonymous contributes, which is all things geek. I mainly talk Nintendo and games that they are currently either in production for or even out at the moment. I, of course, do produce all my content for the website as well, as I am one of many people who contribute on that site that actually are involved with Mega Powers Radio. Continue watching all this great, fine media-related stuff that we have going for you. We have plenty of nights of the week. I believe Paden will be doing Geek Speak tomorrow if all things go to schedule.
Of course.
We will have I Got Gameplay on Saturday. Everything that's involved with this radio, just keep listening up. And, of course, you can watch Smack Talk on YouTube Friday night, Saturday mornings when it gets uploaded, which is, of course, done by Tony. And we all basically contribute to that as well. So keep in touch with all the progress that we do with our programs here, because we're doing a good job, people. Hayden, to you.
And Braeden just patted my butt. It was odd.
America.
So if you want to follow me personally, you can check me on all social media networks with the handle MRPADEN. That's Mr. Paden. You can check out my personal wrestling podcast along with Brandon Ligon and Michael Burhan that airs on Thursday nights live on another radio station. That's Dream Elite Radio, which you can find at blogtalkradio.com/Dream Elite. That airs every Thursday night at 9 p.m. It's head-to-head with TNA Impact because it's the Thursday Night Wars, and we're taking it head-to-head to them to hopefully finally put them out. You know, we've talked a lot joking that they're out, but no, in all seriousness, we got to get them out of there. They must be stopped. And, of course, Mega Powers Radio is what you've been listening to us on here. If you want to listen to any of the other fine shows, you can check out our schedule by going to megapowersradio.com. As Braeden said, we got Geek Speak on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. I Got Gameplay Saturday nights at 8 p.m. We just brought in a new show, the Daceman Show, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. With the wonderful Chris Dace, who you'll probably hear a few times on Smack Talk Radio, possibly even maybe here on the Monday night show. We'll see if we can get him to show up. And I guess that's about it that we got going on here. So for myself, Mike Paden, for Braeden Mayhew, for Drew White, for Anthony Mango, and for Paul Hibbard, thank you everyone listening to the Monday Night Raw postgame show here on Mega Powers Radio. We'll see y'all next week.